Hi, I'm Terry Murphy for Realty Times Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, and in the men's room with Murph. And every once in a while, somebody who is a mega force in the real estate industry and in business actually has an alternative, amazing talent. And I want to introduce you to Stefan Swanepoel, who you will know as the Real Estate Almanac and real estate trends since 2005, isn't it? It's been like 15 years. But he wrote a remarkable book, and it reflects his early beginnings, and it's called Surviving the Serengeti. It has nothing to do with real estate.
No.
Stefan, join us and tell us what made you write this book.
Because my wife said I couldn't.
And that's a good reason, right there.
That is a great reason. I have always written real estate books. All my books have always been real estate, which is my absolute number one passion in the world. But at one stage, you know, I got tired like everybody else does. Every book is just real estate and its data and its numbers and its trends. And it became a chore. It became work. It is work, you know. I mean, to put it, you know, to write this year, my team, I didn't write on my own by any stretch. There are team members with me, you know, 600-700 pages of book every year. So I said to my wife one year, I want to write something which has got nothing to do with the business. I don't even want the word real estate in the book at all. And she said, well, what are you going to write about? I said, I have no idea. And she said, well, what do you think? I said, well, she said, well, you can't write about 50 Shades of Grey because you know nothing about that, right? And you can't write about Star Wars because you've never been to the moon, so you don't know anything about that. And you can't write a Western because you're not a cowboy. And I said, okay, well, you've just cut out about 90% of what I was going to write about, right? So I went to my bookshelf and I looked at all the books on my bookshelf and I pulled them off from the bookshelf and I stacked them on the floor in the types of books they were. And the single biggest pile was Business Fable. And your husband, Don Hudson, right? And Ken Blanchard and Stephen Covey and Patrick Lencioni and who wrote the guy? Jim Collins, right? Those were the kind of books that were on my shelf. I had them and I looked at them and I said, oh, this is a category called Business Fable. And I'm not even quite sure that I realized that this is my favorite category. And I knew nothing about a business fable. And I took 2 years and I went and met other authors like Don Hudson and Ken Blanchard and Stephen Covey at the time. And I went and met them to say, well, what did you do? How did you write it? And that's what you should always do. You should learn from others, right? You should learn from the people that have walked the path before you. And I said to them, well, how did you do it? How did you become a bestseller? Did you know you were going to become a bestseller? Should it be a long book, a thin book, a fat book? Who moved my cheese? Why has it got so few pages? And I went through the logic as I do, as I'm an engineer, and I pulled everybody's book apart. And I put together for myself a plan on how to write a New York Times best-selling fable. And yet at that time, I had no idea what I was going to write about. And I was probably struggling for a year, going through the process. And my wife and I were looking at television one night, and there was the Discovery Channel on, and we saw the Serengeti migration on the TV. And my dad was a diplomat, and he was stationed in the Serengeti in the 50s when I was born, where I was born. So I thought, wow, I know I come from Africa. I know, well, I'm not an African-American. Maybe I'm an American-African. I don't know which one. But anyway, so I thought, well, maybe I can use the Serengeti as the backdrop for the story. So I said to my wife, I'm going to go back to Africa this time, not to go visit family, not to go to where I was born, but to go and look at the animals through a different pair of eyes. And she said, great, I'll come with. And I said, no, honey, you're staying. Because remember, you said I couldn't write this book, right? So no, you're staying because you're a distraction when you're with me. Let me go on my own. And I went for 2 weeks and I went on a safari on my own. I had one guide with me. And I said to him every morning, now let's today go and look at the elephants. And I want to spend 6 hours with the elephants. I want to smell them. I want to see them, not maybe touch them, but I want to get as close as I can so that you can absorb your environment. I want to see what I can learn from the elephant. And it was from that trip that Surviving Your Serengeti was born. I came back, I wrote the story fairly quickly. I don't know, 30 days. I put it together. I thought it was brilliant. And I gave it to another person who was an author. And I said, ta-da, here we are. And he looked at it and he said, it's a good story, but you wrote it from the wrong point of view. Oh. And I had written it from the point of an American being in America because I had immigrated to America and I'm so proud to be an American. So I wanted to write it from an American point of view. He said, you came from Africa. You know Africa. Why did you not write it from an African point of view as if the story was set in Africa? And I thought, damn it. He's right. He's right. But it's not going to force me to tear up the book or just publish it. And, you know, I can't do something wrong. I can't do it half-heartedly. If
Not a
it's
chance. Not
no,
a chance.
not a chance. So I took all of my work, I ripped the manuscript up, and I started right from over, and I rewrote everything, but from the point of view that he had suggested, from being it set in Africa. And I have to agree with him, he was right. The book turned out way better than what I thought it was going to be. And so we released it.
2011.
That's it, 2011, yes, early 2011. And it went to New York Times bestseller list. I did get to #1. I got to number...
It made the list, Stefan.
Number 2 or 3. There was one guy from MGM Studios that owned the movie studio. He had just released a book that he had written, and he bought enough copies to put one in every hotel room or every motel or something like that, and outsold me. But it was number 2, number 3. It made it to USA Today. I did go to #1 on Amazon in 4 categories, and it made it to the top 5 in, I think, 7 categories. So it did great. It's
a wonderful book, and it really gives you a wonderful insight into the animal side of behavior and how you appear and behave. So I would recommend people get it. Is it still available on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon, if they have copies. I think it might be sold out. I'm not even sure. It did go to, I think, 5 printings that I remember. And I know it has been made available, I think, in 9 countries. So it's available in Chinese and Korean and Italian and Spanish, yay. Portuguese. So I think it's available in about 9 languages. I don't know if it's still in print. I haven't actually worked on it for quite some time.
It's a great book. And I just wanted to shine a light on the fact that when you're talented, and even though you weren't even sure about what you want to write, because we have writing workshops at our company, you did a great job and made the list, which is rare, especially, but you took it from your own roots. And I just think that makes it fascinating. So I want to tell you, if you want to get the book, it's Surviving the Serengeti by Stefan. Go to Amazon, find it. You'll find it somewhere because it is a great book. Stefan, thanks for joining us. I know that people can find you online because you're everywhere. And also, of course, the distinguished author and publisher of the Real Estate Almanac and Real Estate Trends. I hope you'll join us again, because I know you'll probably write another book. Now that you're a grandfather, you probably find something. You'll probably start writing children's books.
It's on my to-do list. It's on my to-do list.
I sort of thought about that. Okay, well, congratulations on creating a great life and creating great value here in our industry. I'm Terry Murphy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.